was in Chicago a couple of months ago and really soaking up and experiencing one of America's truly great cities. And I really took a lot of pleasure in the opportunity to meet new people, introduce myself, and let them know where I was from. And like a good dad and a good tourist, I found myself showing people pictures that they didn't necessarily ask to see. Really boasting and desiring to give people a glimpse of this city that I've come to really love and respect. And the pictures that I really leaned on the most were some aerial photographs from Cooper Ross of Insight Visual Media, and you'll see those on the screen behind me. So I want to just take a moment and with all sincerity and kind of in a wholehearted way, I really want to celebrate and give thanks for all that has taken place in our city over the last 18, 19, 20 years since the original maps was passed in 1993. So could we just kind of give a round of applause? I want to share some recent accolades with you from the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce website about our great city. 5th most stable housing market, highest growth rate of median household income, number 1 in economic strength, 7th most charitable major metro area, best place on earth for oil and gas investment, ranked 1st for cost of living, number 6 for best cities for millennials, most business-friendly city, top 10 best big cities for jobs, number 1 city for job creation, 3rd happiest city to work, one of the most secure places to live, and number 1 for economic security. On and on I could go, dating all the way back to 2008 when Forbes magazine named us what? Most recession-proof city in the country. Last year I had the opportunity to participate in what was then known as the Oklahoma Creativity Forum. And the session that I kind of highlighted in my mind that I was most eager to take in was a session with our very own Mr. Aubrey McClendon of Chesapeake Energy and the co-founder and CEO of Whole Foods, John Mackey. And during Mr. McClendon's opening remarks, he mentioned that several years ago he sat down and he wrote a top 10 list of things that he wanted to see accomplished in the greater metropolitan area. A few of the notable things he mentioned, I want to see a dome on the Capitol. He said, I'd like to have an NBA team. And I'd like a really great grocery store. Now, he was by no means suggesting that he was single-handedly responsible for these accomplishments, but it got my attention. And it helped me realize, once again, that we didn't arrive here by coincidence, accident, or chance. But that day in and day out in buildings and offices and boardrooms, men and women are making plans for the present and future trajectory of our city. And as a result of those plans, we've made it. We've arrived. We have, as they say, built and become a big league city. We've proven in this town that whatever we deem important and determined to make a priority, it in fact becomes a reality. Nothing has stood in our way, and our pioneering spirit has prevailed. We have done all of the things necessary to become a great city by earthly standards. We possess all of the amenities that would make us a desirable place to live for both insiders and outsiders alike. We have experienced unprecedented renewal at every level. We are as healthy can be. Or are we? Famed South African President Nelson Mandela, he has this idea where he says, there is no keener revelation of the condition of a society than the way in which it treats its children. That's a mouthful, so I want to say it again. There is no keener revelation of the condition of a society than the way in which it treats its children. And if that is true, and I believe it to be, how are we doing as a city, as a state, as a society? What is our true condition? A few numbers that I want to share with you very, very quickly. Gosh, I flunked, man. I'm the first guy who flunked. Can I finish, or should I just stop? Democracy rules. I love it. So in state fiscal year 2011, just this past year, there were 103,143 boys and girls in our state who were alleged to be victims of abuse and neglect. 103,143 children alleged to be victims of abuse and neglect. This reinforced what I already knew, that year after year, we as a state, we rank pitifully low in terms of the overall well-being of our children. In the last 3 years, we've ranked 44th, 43rd, and 40th. And while we're showing signs of improvement, I will point out to you, we still rank in the bottom 10 in terms of the overall well-being of our children. On January the 1st of this year, there were 8,308 boys and girls in the foster care system right here in our state for reasons of abuse, neglect, and abandonment. I looked at the DHS website today. That number is now over 9,700. Boys and girls in foster care because of abuse, neglect, and abandonment. In our state, through a series of shelters, each and every night, on nights just like this one, there are 250 boys and girls that we'll call a shelter run by the government home. That's family. Right here in Oklahoma City at 63rd and Western, a stone's throw away from Chesapeake, Anthropology, Whole Foods, Nichols Hills Plaza, one of these shelters exists. And this morning, there were 56 boys and girls aged 0 to 18 that called that shelter on the outskirts of Nichols Hills home. The only reason that these boys and girls will spend a single night in one of these shelters is because there are not enough foster families who are ready, willing, and able to welcome them into their heart and their home and love them as their own. Closing thought, French novelist Victor Hugo, he has this idea that there is nothing so powerful as an idea whose time has come. I believe that the people of Oklahoma City, taking collective responsibility for these boys and girls in foster care, welcoming them into our heart and into our homes, loving them as our own children, is an idea whose time has come.